Have you ever wondered how one woman transformed a 1,000-year-old institution? When Catherine Middleton walked down the aisle at Westminster Abbey in April of 2011, she wasn't just becoming a duchess, she was about to quietly revolutionize what it means to be royal. The changes she's brought range from the way royals parent their children to how they approach mental health, fashion, and their very relationship with the public. Let's go through every way Princess Catherine has changed the modern royal family. We have to start with the most obvious change: Catherine herself. She was the first commoner to marry an heir to the British throne in over 350 years. Let that sink in. For centuries, royals married other royals, or at least aristocrats, with impressive titles and bloodlines. Catherine's father was a flight dispatcher. Her mother was a flight attendant. They built a successful party supplies business from scratch. The press initially called her Weighty Katie, mocking her for the nearly decade-long courtship before William proposed. But that waiting period was actually revolutionary. She wasn't a 19-year-old like Diana, thrown into royal life after a 6-month courtship. Catherine was 29 when she married, college-educated, and she knew exactly what she was getting into. Her middle-class background, once seen as a liability, has become one of the monarchy's greatest assets. She brings a relatability that blue blood simply can't manufacture. The stability of her family, Carol and Michael Middleton's decades-long marriage, their close-knit dynamic, their normalcy, gave William something he'd never really had: an example of functional family life. Perhaps Catherine's most significant impact has been transforming what royal motherhood looks like. The way previous generations of royals raised children would be unrecognizable to most parents today. Children were kept at arm's length, raised primarily by nannies, sent off to boarding school at impossibly young ages. Catherine does the school run herself. Let that register for a moment. The future Queen of England drops her kids off at school in the morning, like millions of other mothers. She's on the parents' WhatsApp group chat at Lambrook School. She attends the rugby matches, the school plays, the ordinary moments. Royal commentator Katie Nicholl has said that Kate's approach represents a dramatic shift. Being a royal mother has changed dramatically. For women like the Princess of Wales, family now comes before everything else. When royal engagements are being planned, the first question Kate asks is, reportedly, "How does this work for us as a family?" Her nanny, Maria Barallo, who received a Royal Victorian Medal in the 2025 New Year Honors, handles many childcare duties, but Kate insists on doing the school run herself. She's been spotted at clubs and matches in dressed-down jeans and flat pumps without makeup, looking like any other working parent. The values she's instilling are deliberately normal. She's spoken about teaching George, Charlotte, and Louis the importance of kindness, respect, and honesty, saying these values are just as important as excelling at maths or sport. William and Kate famously don't allow their children to have phones, a modern, mindful parenting decision, according to parenting expert Joe Frost. Prince William has publicly credited Catherine with this approach. It was Catherine who first realized that all three of us were working on mental health in our individual areas of focus, he once said. That ability to see the bigger picture, to connect dots, to prioritize emotional well-being, it's transformed how the Wales family operates. The Kate effect is probably the most documented phenomenon of her royal career. Industry estimates suggest she boosts the British fashion industry by approximately £1 billion annually. When she wears something, it sells out within minutes, sometimes crashing websites entirely. Remember the rice bandage dress she wore to meet the Obamas in May 2011? The retailer sold one dress per minute until their server crashed. They had no idea she planned to wear it. The Isa wrap dress from her engagement announcement? It transformed the label overnight. In 2008 and 2009, we were in serious financial trouble, designer Daniela Haleel later said. When Kate wore that dress, everything changed. But it's not just that items sell, it's what she chooses to wear. Catherine strategically mixes high-end designers like Alexander McQueen and Jenny Packham with high-street brands like Zara, Hobbs, and Rice. This wasn't something royal women traditionally did. The The message is intentional. Even a princess can appreciate affordable fashion. She's created a template for modern royal dressing that didn't exist before. She champions British designers, giving exposure to labels like Eponine London, whose founder Jet Schenkman described the impact of Kate wearing their designs as life-changing. Perhaps most significantly, Catherine has become a fierce champion of sustainable fashion. British tabloids once called her Thrifty Kate for re-wearing outfits, a practice that's now celebrated rather than criticized. At the 2023 BAFTAS, she made headlines by wearing the same Alexander McQueen gown she'd worn 4 years earlier. At an environmentalist gala, she re-wore a Grecian-inspired McQueen she'd first donned a decade prior. She's been documented upcycling outfits dozens of times, altering necklines, adjusting sleeves, having pieces tailored post-pregnancy rather than purchasing new ones. In an industry producing 92 million tons of textile waste annually, the future queen showing that outfit repeating isn't just acceptable, but admirable, sends a powerful message. In 2025, she'll become the first Princess of Wales in 116 years to issue royal warrants, official endorsements of her favorite brands. Fashion experts are eagerly anticipating which companies she'll choose to highlight, knowing each selection could transform a business overnight. Before the younger royals took up the cause, mental health was barely whispered about in royal circles. Catherine changed that. In 2016, she envisioned and helped launch Heads Together alongside William and Harry, described at the time as the biggest single project their Royal Highnesses have undertaken together. The campaign aimed to end stigma around mental health and encourage people to have conversations about their emotional well-being. Prince William has publicly credited Catherine with the entire initiative's genesis. It was Catherine who first realized that all three of us were working on mental health in our individual areas of focus. She had seen that at the core of adult issues like addiction and family breakdown, unresolved childhood mental health issues were often part of the problem. She's spoken openly about her own struggles with motherhood. "I won't pretend it's easy," she once said about balancing royal duties with parenting. She's discussed mum guilt and the constant challenge of work-life balance, candid admissions that would have been unthinkable from previous generations of royals. The Heads Together campaign led to tangible outcomes. The Shout Text helpline received £3 million from the Royal Foundation, their biggest investment in a project at the time, and the service has helped people across the UK access crisis support 24/7. Catherine's approach to mental health awareness extended through the pandemic with her Hold Still photography project, created in partnership with the National Portrait Gallery, where she serves as patron. The project invited ordinary Britons to capture their experiences during lockdown. Over 31,000 photographs were submitted. The 100 final images were displayed in exhibitions across the UK and compiled into a book, with proceeds supporting Mind, the mental health charity. While mental health was a team effort, early childhood development has become Catherine's personal mission, what aides have called the social equivalent to climate change. In 2021, she launched the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood, focused on the critical importance of the first 5 years of life. Our first 5 years lay important foundations for our future selves, she's explained. This period is when we first learn to manage our emotions and impulses, to care, and to empathize. This isn't just raising awareness. In 2020, she launched the 5 Big Questions on the Under 5s survey, the first of its kind, generating nationwide conversation about early childhood. In 2023, she established a business task force, bringing together major corporations to invest in early childhood development, claiming such investment could generate £45.5 billion for the UK economy annually. In 2024, the Royal Foundation launched the Baby Bank Alliance, uniting 300 baby banks across the UK. The Happy Little Minds pilot program is placing mental health practitioners in nurseries in Tower Hamlets and Hackney. The Shaping Us campaign has partnered with organizations from Scouts to the Anna Freud Center. Catherine has personally met with parents, practitioners, and business leaders pushing for changes in parental leave policies. a co-founder of the Dad Shift campaign, recently praised her. The princess has shown real leadership on this issue, noting Deloitte UK changed its policies to give all parents 26 weeks full pay following the princess's behind-the-scenes advocacy. In 2024, King Charles made her a royal companion of the Order of the Companions of Honor, the first member of the royal family ever appointed to this order, which recognizes outstanding achievements in arts, sciences, medicine, and public service. It was a clear signal that her work is being taken seriously at the highest levels. Before Catherine, official royal photographs came from official royal photographers. Period. Catherine quietly changed that by picking up a camera herself. As patron of the Royal Photographic Society and with her art history background, she's become the unofficial photographer of the Wales family. Birthday portraits, first day of school pictures, candid family moments, many of the most beloved images of George, Charlotte, and Louis over the years were taken by their mother. She launched the Hold Still project during the pandemic, inviting the British public to document their experiences through photography. We've all been struck by some of the incredible images we've seen, which have given us an insight into the experiences and stories of people across the country, she said at the time. The approach humanizes the royal family in ways formal portraits never could. These aren't stiff, staged images. They're glimpses of real family life, captured by a mother who happens to be royal. Of course, this approach wasn't without controversy. In March 2024, a family photo released for Mother's Day was pulled by major news agencies after it appeared to have been digitally manipulated. Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing, Catherine apologized. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused. The incident sparked intense media scrutiny, but it also revealed something telling. Catherine had been so trusted to provide authentic family images that the breach of that trust became a major story. The fact that she personally takes and edits family photos at all remains revolutionary. Catherine hasn't just modified existing royal traditions, she's created entirely new ones. Her annual Together at Christmas Carol service at Westminster Abbey, now in its 5th year, has become a beloved fixture of the royal calendar. What started in 2021 as a way to honor essential workers during the pandemic has evolved into an annual celebration of volunteers, community workers, and ordinary people making extraordinary contributions. The 2025 service welcomed 1,600 guests, featured readings from Kate Winslet and Chiwetel Ejiofor, and was themed around love in all its forms. It's broadcast on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, reaching millions. The service reflects Catherine's priorities. It's less about pomp and more about people. Guests include charity fundraisers and community volunteers alongside family members. In 2021, she even surprised viewers by playing piano alongside Tom Walker for a performance of For Those Who Can't Be Here. This year also saw the addition of 15 community carol services across the UK, extending the Together at Christmas concept beyond Westminster Abbey's walls. In March 2024, Catherine revealed she was undergoing treatment for cancer, discovered during tests following her January abdominal surgery. Her video announcement, filmed at Windsor, demonstrated the grace that has defined her public life. This, of course, came as a huge shock, she said. William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. The announcement generated an outpouring of global support. World leaders, celebrities, and ordinary people sent well wishes. King Charles, himself undergoing cancer treatment, said he was so proud of Catherine for her courage in speaking as she did. Her gradual return to public life, appearing at Trooping the Colour in June 2024, at Wimbledon in July, receiving a standing ovation, and at her Christmas Carol service in December, showed millions of people what recovery can look like. You have to find your new normal, and that takes time, and it's a roller coaster, she told hospital patients in July 2025. In January 2025, she announced she was in remission. It is a relief to now be in remission, and I remain focused on recovery, she wrote. As anyone who has experienced a cancer diagnosis will know, it takes time to adjust to a new normal. Her openness about the diagnosis, while still maintaining appropriate privacy about medical details, has helped destigmatize cancer conversations and given hope to others facing similar journeys. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about Catherine's impact is how quietly it's been achieved. She doesn't give bombshell interviews, she doesn't publicly air grievances, she doesn't court controversy. Instead, she shows up, she does the work, she raises her children with intention, she champions causes methodically over years and decades, building coalitions rather than making splashy announcements. Royal commentators have described her as the monarchy's greatest asset. A 2025 Times profile noted she feels great pressure to get it right when raising the future king, and that pressure seems to have made her more determined, not less. What becomes clear looking at Catherine's transformation of the royal family is just how comprehensive the change has been. She made it possible for a commoner to marry the future king. She redefined what royal motherhood looks like. She's channeled her fashion influence towards sustainability and British designers. She's made mental health and early childhood development mainstream royal causes. She's created new traditions while honoring old ones. She's humanized the monarchy through photography and openness. For all their palaces and privilege, when it comes to school runs and parenting worries and cancer diagnoses, the royals, thanks in large part to Catherine, aren't so different from anyone else. And that might be her greatest legacy of all. Which of these changes surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe to see more like this.